What's going on, New Gaming Order? We are back for our next topic. I was informing the staff of what we're going to be talking about next, and I figured, and this has been in my brain for a minute. Like, why do digital games still have a high retail value? You know, you look at Steam. There are certain games like Assassin's Creed Unity. You know, you can get that same game on Amazon for $18, right? Then you can go on PSN or Xbox Live and it's like $40. And then on Steam it's like $59.99. Why? But apparently, you know, you would think that having a digital game, hey, it's like, how come, you know, you don't want to make it cheaper or whatever, you know, you can cut the cost of production by just going digital only. And I remember we were talking about this like about a year or two ago. Like one day we're gonna go all digital with that, and maybe we could start seeing the prices go down. But I had learned, and shout out to the Red Dragon, because one of his videos are very informative, and it said that if you look at, you know, Microsoft, Sony, the software publishers, developers, when you have a digital game and then you print, you know, you have the digital games on the server, then you print the physical media, right? You put those games out at stores like Best Buy, Walmart, or what have you, and you have to keep in mind that you want to exhaust all the physical inventory, right? So you can send like 100 games or 100 units disc to Best Buy. Let's say they don't all sell, right? And then you have the digital game on Steam or something for cheaper than what you can find in the store. Guess what? They now get stuck with the physical units, and they can't really move it. So it's kind of like a way to encourage people to exhaust the physical media that they pay for, the shipping, the trucking, the warehousing, and all that, to get it to a GameStop or whatever, right? And it pretty much, I think that even Review Tech and other folks said that if you look at it, it's almost like you're getting the digital game, you're paying more of like a convenience fee, if anything, you know. So I wish Snoop was on, because I know that he would definitely have a lot to weigh in on. But now that I think about it, it makes sense, because let's say you get stuck with all that inventory, how are you going to get rid of it? You know, could it be that maybe the industry has to restructure itself where, hey, don't print as many discs, and start keeping the prices competitive between the physical media and the digital? Or is it something that could be fixed? Now, with the whole DRM with Microsoft and all that, trying to go the route of Steam, you know, I guess that in some ways they were trying to bring down the cost. So folks may not agree with it, but I think that, you know, Goken said a long time ago, maybe if it completely goes all digital, then we can see the prices drop, because you don't have to worry about inventory anymore. But with that being said, Demizzle, what are your thoughts on, you know, I mean, I just want to know if that's possible to bring down the digital costs of games. And with that too, just like a wild card, digital games, if one day we do go completely digital, they need to have a online digital credit trading service, where if you make a regret purchase, like I have Sunset Overdrive, and I'm not drawn to the game, I shouldn't have bought it, I want to get my money back or trade it to credit for something else. But it is what it is. But Demizzle, what are your thoughts?
Well, and to respond to your regret purchasing, Steam has that now, where like you can't play a game over a certain amount of time.
Oh, I'm aware.
And
2 hours.
Yeah, if you have less than 2 hours play, you can refund the game for the full cost.
It's
like,
2 weeks from when you buy it in 2 hours, I think it is.
Yeah, because I recently got Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 on Steam, and I couldn't run them because my computer's too new. So, even in compatibility mode, but I had spent less than 2 hours trying to make the game work, and I refunded them, got my money back the same day. So, it does happen.
Okay.
In regards to, like, why don't they print up more discs? I mean, less discs. Like, you don't want to run into the issue of price gouging, because even though...
Or sold out and shit.
Yeah, like, even though a game may be new, you don't want to run the risk of, okay, if I know that they're printing up less discs, that's going to be more incentive for me to buy like 10 copies of the game than wait till they're sold out, then sell them at like a ridiculous amount.
That's what happened to the Xenosaga on the Wii. GameStop held a bunch of copies back. They sold it like new for $90 after they exhausted their initial supply.
Damn, greedy.
You see it more at mom and pop stores too, because they'll hold back shipments of like rare games or like games that were printed with a limited release. And like if you once like the major chains like Best Buy, GameStop, Walmart, Target sell out, you'll run across it at a mom and pop store, but for like 150% of the retail price.
Guardian Heroes was one of those types of games, and
that's something that you don't want to run into, especially with digital gaming, because with digital gaming, especially on consoles, you don't know how many people don't have access to high-speed internet on your console. Like, say, Microsoft and Sony, they know how many people have their console, but they don't know exactly who has the good internet, who doesn't have the good internet. So there's no barometer to judge that by.
mm-hmm.
And so also, like, the reason why digital games remain like a little bit higher than the retail prices, like, you also have to consider that you're still paying a convenience factor, you're still paying a bandwidth fee for you to download it, you're still paying for the server storage for them to host the game.
Mm-hmm. But then those costs would be less if you think about it. Like, okay, if you weigh the server fees and all that other stuff that you mentioned, but then the same stuff we're getting FedEx, UPS, freights, warehousing, shipping, stocking, that kind of stuff. Like, is it actually cheaper to keep it on online as opposed to actually pushing the stuff out?
It's far cheaper to do it distribution.
It's far cheaper, but again, it goes back to, you don't know how many people have access to very good internet to download your game, which is like, at this point, the average retail game is like 50 gig big, between 30 and 50 gig big.
Okay.
And I know for me, even on a 150 download speeds, it takes me roughly an hour to download that. So you don't know who has that capability. That's where the guesswork comes in. You're like, okay, how many discs do I print?
You also got a lot of internet companies trying to push bandwidth caps too.
Yeah, right? That's a bullshit.
Like, I'm on Comcast, and I have Xfinity high-speed internet. And even though they're not enforcing the bandwidth cap, their bandwidth cap is 250 gig. And if I bought video games like that, that would be like 5 games that I could buy in a month.
With no other web traffic either. You couldn't do anything else that month.
That would just totally kill my bandwidth cap.
Man.
So there's a whole lot of things that go into this. That's why, like, printing a disc up, sending it to a store, and having it in storage is the optimal way to go for now, because there's still too much guesswork in digital distribution. Okay.
Also, I want to. Shin Raven said Fatal Fury 1 on Sega Genesis was $90 at Electronics Boutique. What? Unbelievable, man! Some of these mom and pop shops, man. But you know,
I'll give you a prime example of a recent game that, not like a super recent game, but a game that was printed in limited release, but sold for a very high dollar amount. Catherine for Xbox 360 and PlayStation.
That was a good game.
That was good.
Like, I remember going into GameStops and seeing that game for $109 for the standard edition new, when it normally retailed for $59.99.
Why would GameStop can do that?
Yeah, I just explained. They did that with the Wii game.
Now, here's my thing. Here's my thing with that, right? With, okay, Catherine, let's say you can't get it anymore, and they're selling it for that much. This is where the digital would, like, seem better, because, like, for instance, remember when Guardian Heroes Special Edition or the 360 edition came out? And remember, all of a sudden, those people who were hoarding that Saturn version, the prices significantly got cut. Same thing with Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Remember the Xbox one and the Dreamcast? The Xbox one, right? you're running out trying to get that game. Couldn't find it for less than $150. Then Capcom remastered it and put it on 360. Then, bam, cut that price and it more available to more people. You know what I mean? That's some BS when they do that kind of nonsense.
But here's the thing. The MSRP manufacturer suggested retail price is just that, a suggested retail price. Doesn't mean that this is the price. This is just the price that, hey, this is what we're valuing it at as the publisher. But hey, you can sell it for whatever the hell you want to sell it for. It's yours once it leaves our hands.
All right. Now for time, I wanted to give Nelson a chance to speak on it. But what are your thoughts on, I guess, the price balancing between digital versus physical disc?
That is a very iffy subject, because there's a lot of times where, like right now, I can go get, let's say, Resident Evil 0. I don't know what the price is of it now. I'm just gonna say $20. Digital, you could get it, and if you was to go to a physical store, you could get it for way less than that. That's like the big difference. But if, let's say, there's no way to obtain this physical copy anymore, you're more or less bounded to get the digital copy, and that's not really fair for someone like me, because let's say, what's that other fucking game? Let's say like Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto 5 is $59.99 with tax digitally. I can go get that game at GameStop now for like $20-something.
But that, I was saying, the reason for that is because they're trying to deplete the physical media, because it's expensive to get rid of inventory.
It's still, to me, not fair that you're overcharging me in a digital sense that much money, when you should have a structure. If the game has been out for a certain amount of time, decrease its value,
depreciation,
and you know where it stands. But you're not going to do that. Why? Because you still want your money in some form of way. I know for a fact, I know for a fact, like the entire Nintendo library on the Wii store, their prices don't go down unless if it's specifically that day where it has a sale. But normally their prices are like structured to be left alone. They will never decrease in price. And I find that really fucked up, because Steam does it for its PC games all the time, and their value will go down as the time passes by. On the PS3, certain games do that, not all. It's also, what I think it is too, is depending on the company of where they want to leave their prices at as well. Because I do know certain companies have influences where they will tell Microsoft or Sony, like, hey, you got such and such title, we got Call of Duty, right? Don't ever drop down the digital price. If it's a physical price, go ahead. But in digital, we want that staying at $60. Like, I don't find that to be fair at all. So I would hope in the future they structure it where the prices will go down, whether if it's physical or digital. And if it's hard to obtain, you should at least compensate with us and be like, hey, we're not able to purchase the physical copy. You should get like a poll and be like, all right, lower the price.
Okay, good points. All right, and Gokin, what are your thoughts? Gokin.
Gone.
Oh, is he still in the Discord?
Yeah, he's still here.
All right. Well, you know what? On your knees. I know you jumped in here and there, but you know, what are your thoughts? Because I'll probably get Gokin on the director's cut.
Yeah, the Nelson's point with Nintendo, I think that has to do with Nintendo being a gatekeeper for their content. They are much more hands-on than Steam is. Steam typically doesn't intervene unless, you know, they're catering to SJWs or smacking them down, like what happened with Hatred. So that's why the individual producers or sellers of the games have more control over the pricing than they would with Nintendo. So I think that's why Nintendo prices never drop. In regards to everything else,
hello?
No, I don't think they hold value as much as Nintendo thinks they do. But they're the only game in town when it comes to it. So unless you're willing to buy games online, you know.
Hello?
You're here, Alex. Sweet.
Yeah, I had to refresh Discord. Give me a second. All right. Hello, Chris. You there? Hello.
Products, and I've sold them a lot of times. I sold 2 3DSs and I bought them at a certain price, and I only lost about $5 to $10 reselling.
All right.
That's value. You know what I'm saying? You don't find that in a lot of stuff. You know?
because the Nintendo handhelds are still in demand.
Right.
So that kind of helps. But with everything else, if you know where to look, it's kind of hard to pull that shit now. They can only really pull the shit with holding releases back if it's a really limited release. Not sure what was up with Catherine. You could buy it now for $20. So I don't know what the big deal is with that one.
Like after it was released, like it sold out very quickly, and like I do remember going into a GameStop and seeing it for over $100. Like surely after it was released, but yeah, now that it's like not an in-demand game anymore, you can get it for roughly what it's supposed to be used and new for a game that old.
Yeah, but the whole thing with Xenosaga was kind of shitty with GameStop. They purposely held back half their stock so they can jack up the price.
They should all be fired.
Fired.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and to add, Shin Raven's like, you got websites like GOG.com and G2A.
Good old games.
They sell Steam pre-orders for cheaper than Steam. Don't know how they get it away with that, but okay.
Well, they sell a lot of old shit too.
I can tell you the reason why the GOG.com and G2A.com sell things on the cheaper. Both of those companies, if I'm not mistaken, is in Europe or within the UK, and their price structuring is different. So when you convert it to our American dollars to them, it seems like it's cheaper.
Because the Dow is shit compared to the euro anyway.
GOG sells a lot of older stuff, so it's they probably get a bigger cut of it.
Yeah,
so they can mark it down.
Exactly. So it's more or less like if it's structured in a different server in a different country, then of course it's going to be like a price difference cheaper to in our sense. So that's why people be like, oh yeah, I get sponsored by G2A Gaming because they have cheap discounted prices on game. It's not the case. You're getting it from a different country, bro. Like.
Yeah. All right. And Goken, I think I had to refresh, but where you had weighed in on the topic? Yes. No.
Well, yeah, I was just saying about how my perception of like Nintendo's value. I feel like they're like an Apple product kind of. They're like a specialty. It's a weird thing.
They're becoming like more novelty now.
Right. You know what I mean? They have the nostalgia, they have the history, and they have a tendency to have products that for whatever reason hold the value a little bit longer than any other system. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's what I was saying just about that. And I agree mostly with Nelson in regards to the value of the digital games and stuff. But I think it is kind of messed up that digital value doesn't go down. I think our biggest concern as gamers, right? And we've probably mentioned this a million times over and over, is that if you do go all digital, like we're already buying these games now, and they have no content on them. Basically, they're just like a
strip game,
and then we have to download everything after we get it. So we're moving more towards that, and it's really bad for business. Like,
watch, it's gonna turn into free to play.
No, right, but it is bad because like games like Destiny, you buy it, but you can't. Again, we're all stuck online playing this shit, and every time you go to do something, you got to download something. So, like, this is what we have to be careful of. Like, we should demand that any of these developers, when they're making these games, make the whole damn game, put it on the disc, and if you want to do something after, then we'll buy it. I should be able to play my games without having to be online. So that's why they're moving towards. They're gonna do it. It's gonna happen, man. This next generation, I think we're done.
All right.
Let me not go off on a tangent.
Yeah, but go ahead, Chris. Before I close.
Well, there's one quick way to solve that problem. Unfortunately, I don't think enough people are going to do it. It's just if they're pulling that shit, just don't give them money.
Yep.
Yeah, smack them with your wallet, or just do like
Borat's
Borat's sister, like nah, you can't get this.
Like we literally have to go as gamers together and be like, hey, look, this game is this game. Coming out, it looks like a great game, but guess what? We're not going to be able to do anything without being connected, and we have to download blah blah. It's like, fuck it, no one buys this game.
Yeah. All right. Hey, you got to boycott them. But for the sake of time, we're gonna bring this topic to an end. I got one more. Like, I guess I'll just do the PSAs, and hopefully it doesn't get like too crazy, because I don't know how touchy the subject is, but we'll see. But make sure you join us for that. Rate, comment, and subscribe. Check us out on Newgamingorder.com. Shout out to our partner Full Screen and to the Video Game Network. I'll be sending you the New Gaming Order news as we do it during the week. And, I look forward to growing the partnership with you guys once we land something solid. All right, so we are going to take our intermission and we'll be right back.